Hey guys, how's it going? We are doing our Q&A today, and we have a very special guest. Brent has decided to help out with the Q&A videos. As you guys know, he does not love to be on camera, but I have a hard time reading. I'm super dyslexic, and sometimes I have to read the questions 4 or 5 times to get them correct. And so that makes editing very hard. So he's decided that he's going to read the questions, and I'll answer them.
Give it a shot.
We'll give it a shot. This might not be a forever thing, depending on how comfortable he feels with this video. You guys have noticed that he's definitely been in a lot more videos, like in the background of videos, or if you're following us over on Instagram, he shows up in our short form videos a lot more. And we're trying to post more shorts to YouTube also, so he shows up in those a lot more. Anyways, I have one announcement. I'm going to be in Michigan at the very end of August. I'm going to be there for an event, and then I'm also going to the Found Cottage Mercantile Market. It's a giant antique show, an antique fair, and I will be there with one of my friends. I am going to be there Friday the 29th. I did buy the early ticket to get in, so I will be getting in at 2 o'clock. But I think that they still have tickets available for the 4 o'clock. You can get in at 4 o'clock. I will also be there at 4 o'clock. I just paid for the early bird tickets. And so if you want to make it out there and you run into me, I would love it. It's not going to be like a meet and greet thing. It's just going to be, I'm going to be doing some antique shopping. If you see me, come say hi. We can snag a photo together. If you see me, definitely say hi. I'll be filming the entire thing. So if you see me filming, still come say hi. I can hit stop on the camera. I don't mind stopping to say hello. But I'm not going to be like, okay, I'm meeting and greeting at this time or anything like that. But the antique fair, and then they also gave me a code. The code is Robbie McMenomey, full name, no spaces, and it saves you an extra $1 if you buy your ticket online. And if you buy your ticket online early, I believe you save $5. So using my code, you'll save a total of $6 early, which is really nice. So definitely come out, say hello, do some antique shopping. I'm going to be out there with a friend, and they are offering shipping this year, which is the first year that they've ever offered this. So like I plan to buy some things, and I know I'm not going to be able to fit them in my suitcase, and so I will be having things shipped back here to California. So I will also let you guys know how much shipping costs and all of those things. Don't tell Brent. So we had a total of 7 videos that went out this week between our 2 channels. We did Q&A over on the new channel. Every Sunday, Q&As are going out on the new channel, which is where you guys are watching this one at currently. If you haven't subscribed, you probably should hit that subscribe button. And then we're also doing anything extra. So we're doing like Robbie Recommends, if I go shopping somewhere, and we were able to put out one of the Robbie Recommends videos. I don't pull questions from those. I do pull questions from Q&As, and then all of the questions that I try to pull a couple questions per video over on the main channel. Ready to jump into it?
Ready.
All right. So last week we had the Q&A over on this channel here, and then on the main channel we had garden cleanup and my new trick for beating the heat. And then we cleaned the garden alley, lost a dahlia, and kind of unboxed the chandelier. And then the next video we did was garden cleanup, shopping regrets, and a sparkly greenhouse upgrade. Then we did, of course, I added a few more in the perfect flower arrangement. And then our last video for the week was just a slow, cozy day in the garden. And I was able to show you guys some things that were blooming, and we got a couple things planted, which was really, really nice.
So the very first video is the Q&A. Will the greenhouse leak, and what's the next big project? First question is from Judy McCarroll. And she said, do you absolutely need to put the greenhouse on type of foundation you put yours on, or could you just put it on a cement slab?
You can definitely just put it on a cement slab. You don't even have to put it on a cement slab. My friend Chia-Ming over at Coastal Homestead, she's also on YouTube and on Instagram. She has also a BC greenhouse. Hers is on a wooden foundation. She ended up buying wood that was like, what are they called, like sleeper logs or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Like, and they're pressure treated, or they're coated?
Yeah, they're pressure treated.
Yeah.
And so she had those that she then bolted to the foundation, so that way she could make it so her foundation was level. And then she did that. So you can use like wood foundation. A lot of people have done that. We even watched some videos of some people installing their BC greenhouse on that. Mm-hmm. You can do cement. I think those are kind of the only options, right?
Right.
It's like wood or cement is all you would really do for it. You don't want to just put it directly on like a gravel ground or anything like that. Right. So no, you don't have to have a 18-inch stem wall. You don't even have to have a cement floor like we have. I've seen people who just do just the wall, and then the bottom is open to dirt, and then they fill it with gravel or whatever. So We just decided to go with a cement floor and a cement wall or concrete wall. I don't know. I don't really care about the difference between the two words. Concrete wall, concrete foundation, floor.
Even a lot of the instructional videos showed the entire greenhouse being built on pressure treated lumber. So and just on grass.
Yeah.
So apparently that's an option.
And ours, how we have glass, so we have an 18-inch stem wall. You can even do a 24-inch stem wall, or you can do 0 stem wall on it, and so the glass goes all the way to the ground. I just really liked the look of the 18-inch stem wall, so that was a extra option that we added onto our greenhouse.
Right, which adds complexity, but it worked.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question is Claudette, and she had asked, do you have issues with grasshoppers? I don't recall you ever mentioning them. They love the heat. They are eating my plants like every summer here in Texas. I haven't found anything that protects my plants and not hurt the rest of the good bugs. Open for suggestions.
We don't deal with them. Last year was the first year that they actually were out in our area in full force. They didn't come to our house, which was really nice, but some of my friends lost a lot of their garden due to grasshoppers. I've never dealt with them. We do have grasshoppers. We found one this morning. I found one a couple days ago, but we don't have them in abundance, so I don't really have any good suggestions on what to do for grasshoppers. I think a lot of time you're just kind of out of luck, because I know that they just eat absolutely everything, which is really a huge bummer, because you kind of lose all of your plants that way. So if anybody has a suggestion, I would say leave it in the comments to help out people who do deal with grasshoppers.
Okay, and the last question on this video is from Sue, and she had said, hi Robbie, question, will you be extending your fence line behind the greenhouse?
That is one of the next projects we would like to do, is to be able to extend the fence. Yeah, we will be putting a fence back up. We've already had some people walking back there, so now we have security cameras going right there. But yes, fence will be going up soon. Hopefully in the next couple weeks we'll be getting the fence back up, because we have a lot of looky-loos walking down the back alley and looking into the backyard.
And cruising through.
And driving through. So please don't do that. Anyways, the videos from the main channel. So that was all the questions from this channel. And then now questions from the Visit Our Garden channel.
And the next video is a garden cleanup and my new trick for beating the heat. First question is from Robert Brown. Said, do you worry about your dogs eating the slug killer? I've seen video of dogs that have been ingested and it can be fatal.
Yeah. It's not something that I worry about. I am getting it at the base of the plants. And so my dogs would have to dig through the plant and then get it at the base of the plants. Also, my dogs don't eat anything. They don't eat our plants. I mean, the only thing that even just Freya eats, not even Sadie eats, is the fertilizer. And luckily the fertilizer we use is organic, so I'm not super worried about it. I don't want her eating it, but if I do leave it on the ground, she loves the smell of the fertilizer. And so we do try to pick it up, put it in the shed when I'm done using it, or we put it on the top of the table so she doesn't eat it. But if I leave it on the ground and I walk away, and I leave it outside for the afternoon, it's all fair game. I'm taking a couple bites.
Yeah,
she treats it like it's like a bag of potato chips. It's so gross. That's the only thing that I worry about is the fertilizer. But I've heard other people who've researched it, and they're the dogs would have to eat an 18-pound bag of that. So, I mean, that's excessive, but they would have to eat a ton of it for it to be an issue of the fertilizer. But I'm not worried about the slug stuff with our dogs. If you do have a dog that eats things, eats your plants or eats all kinds of random stuff in your garden, I wouldn't use it, if we're being honest.
And the next question is from Cheryl, and she asked, hi Robbie, do spider mites attack your salvia? Thanks for showing the plants close up. It helps me learn what scale and spider mite damage look like. Also, is it possible to have spider mites without webbing? Thank you for your videos. I love watching your channel.
Thanks. So I don't deal with spider mites on our salvia. Don't see why they wouldn't go to it. I mean, they haven't not chosen a plant in the garden, so I'm just going to assume that salvia could be the next one that they go for. I really think that they'll go for, honestly, anything at this point in the garden. And yes, by the time you notice the webbing on your plants, that means you have a full-blown infestation of Spidermites. So you'll start to see some of the stippling on the leaves, so you'll see some of the little spots from it, but it won't quite turn brown yet. Because they're just starting to really get the sap out of your leaves of your plants. So if you start to see that, and if you can flip your leaf over and you see little tiny black dots or little orange or red dots, like teeny tiny dots, like needle-sized dots, those are spider mites. And so start spraying then. By the time you see the webbing, they've already sucked out most of the sap of the plant and your leaves will brown. And that means you have a full-blown infestation of spider mites.
And the next question is from Lori, and she asked, Robbie, will you provide details on the white Oblisk? Did you purchase it, or is this a Robbie DIY project?
It was not a DIY project. It's actually a really beautiful Oblisk, and I found it at a antique fair. We found it at the Roseville, what was it called?
The Great Junk Hunt.
Great Junk Hunt, which I actually think is coming up in Roseville. Last year was kind of a flop on it, I feel like. Previous years have been really, really good. Will I go again? I have so many other things going on, so I don't know if I'm going to go again. But if you haven't been, I do recommend going. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of really cool things. Last year, we did get a really beautiful piece of furniture from it. But in previous years, I have come home with vehicles, with our vehicle full of stuff, because I found so much good stuff. So I don't know if it was just kind of an off show last year, but I definitely recommend going to the Great Junk Hunt, and that's where I found that white Oblisk from.
And the last question is from Sky, and she asked, love the umbrellas. Quick question, will you be able to save the Magnolia?
We should be able to save the Magnolia. We just filmed our garden tour for this month, this morning, right before I filmed this video. And I noticed spider mites back on the Magnolia, which is so frustrating. I thought that we had gone on top of it. So we're gonna spray again. We are spraying a synthetic. We're spraying pyrethrin, and it has helped tremendously on things that we have sprayed. But I also think our infestation of spider mites was so huge, because we tried spraying them off with water, and then we tried doing the organic, and then by the time it was like a full-blown infestation is when we decided to go synthetic. And I should be able to save the Magnolia, because I am seeing new growth from the Magnolia, and I'm now catching these spider mites before they've even really done any damage to the new growth, which is good. So we're going to spray this evening when the sun goes down. And then also, I mean, the umbrellas have helped tremendously too with planting new things in the garden. So that's been really nice. Like, I think you guys might be able to see one. There's one right back here. The heuchera bed that I just planted back here was getting a little bit too much sun. And so we just shoved an umbrella up, and that's helped with the heucheras that are back here. And then I leave the umbrella over a plant that I plant in the garden for a day or two, and then I can take the umbrella off, and it makes it so it acclimates, which has been really, really helpful.
And the next video was we cleaned the alley, lost a dahlia, and kind of unboxed a chandelier. The first question is from Virgin, and they asked, I have a question. You lose so many plants to bugs and insect disease. Is this because you're trying to be organic or location?
I think it's a little bit of both. We try to be organic, and honestly, I think that we try to be more organic for the YouTube channel. I think I would probably jump more at a systemic or a synthetic route if we weren't a public face, but I know the right thing to do is to do the organic method first. So we do try to do that route. We hand pull all of our weeds. We don't really spray for those. When we deal with pests, I'm like, you know what? That's my sacrificial plant to the pest in the garden. I know I have to have an ecosystem. It's good to have pests, because pests also bring the beneficials that will come and eat them, and you'll have a full ecosystem in your garden. I think part of it is our location where we're at. We are surrounded by orchards, and the orchards do spray, and they spray not organic. And so I think that sends pests out of the orchard and then into home gardens. Like 200 feet away is where the orchards are at from our house. So they're really close, and they surround where we live. And so I think that's it. And so I think it's kind of a combination of both. I think it's just both.
Yeah. I mean, we always try to do organic until we start losing the battle.
And it's not only just losing the battle, because I'm fine losing the battle on certain things.
Right.
You know what, if I lose a couple annuals, whatever, or if I lose a small perennial, whatever, it's fine. That's gardening. I'm very happy to lose that. But when I start losing $200 trees, or we start losing something that's really big in the garden, like last year, we almost lost our hopseed bush, which is huge now, and I would have been like heartbroken if we had lost that, and we almost lost it to scale. I went the very organic route of I smushed all of the scale with my fingernail, and I spent like an hour just combing through that thing to try to kill the scale, and it worked. I don't know. I think we just have two things working against us. I think it's location and the fact that I try to be maybe too organic in the garden.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the next question is from Jane, and she asked, the chandelier will look great in your glass living area. Will you use it for any plants or just an extension of your home?
It's going to be kind of both. It's going to be a extension of our home. We've already eaten dinner out there. We're going to have coffees out there. I will have friends over and have like dinners out there with friends. But we will also be doing lots of plants in there. So during the summer months, there really can't be too many plants that can be in there at all. I mean, really, there's probably not going to be able to, like, maybe some succulents, maybe some cactus. It's going to get well over 100 degrees in there all day long. And so, no, I won't be having lush, beautiful green plants in there, or petunias, or beautiful things in there during the summer months. But in the summer months, I can sit out there in the morning and have my coffee, or we can sit out there in the evening and we can have dinner and be able to enjoy that without having bugs attack us. But then during the winter and like the fall and the spring, I'll be able to start seedlings, I'll be able to transfer things, I'll be able to actually have it be a area where we can have plants in there. I can winter things over. It's going to be both. But I think a lot of people are annoyed because I'm only talking about using it now as where we're going to have coffee or a dining table or things like that. But it will be both. I do promise.
Yeah, we only have 3 months of really crazy temperatures.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, we'll be able to use it for everything.
For everything, yeah.
Okay, and the next question is from Michelle, and she had said, I bought another Hoselink. It's all your fault. I know you've said this already, and I tried to find the video, but I could not. What's the name of the once-a-year application you put on your willow for borers? I bought a bare root 6 months ago, and it's about 6 feet tall. It's still a stick. At what age of the tree is it okay to apply?
With what we use for our willow trees, it's a systemic. We use it on our willow tree, our birch tree, and our alder tree. And we were supposed to be using it on our apple trees. I did not use it on the apple trees. We can pop it up on the screen, and we'll put a link to it in the description down below. This is just what we're using. I can't say if it's worked great or hasn't worked great. We haven't lost any more trees since we started using it. Yeah. But we did lose all of our apple trees. 3 out of the 4 that we had wood borer damage in it. And so that was a huge bummer. But now we know what to look out for, and now we know what to do, and we haven't lost anything else since. And then as far as applying it to a tree, you don't want to apply it to a tree that's less than a year old, especially a bare root tree. If you've taken a tree and you've planted it in the garden, and it was already like potted up, I would probably say and you planted in the springtime, I would say you probably do it in the fall time, so you're good. Fall time, so you'd be good. Is that when we do it as fall? We do it twice a year, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Early spring.
So we do it twice a year. We do it early in the spring, and then we do it at the fall time. So we do it twice a year. So I would say if you planted a tree that's not bare root, and it was like in the soil, you could do that, and then you could do that one in the fall time if you planted it in the springtime. But if it's bare root, I would wait 1 year. That's what the people at the nursery told me when I was buying my systemic that we bought.
And the last question is from JL. Said, hi Robbie, stay encouraged. The property is beautiful. Quick question. Have you considered planting climbing roses at the 4 corners on the wood arbors? You have great success with all roses. This would provide the color that you need in the garden, and roses are built tough. Thanks for sharing.
They're definitely built tough. I haven't actually found any more roses that I really, really, really want on the property. I've thought about doing where the jelly bean beds are on the 4 corners, doing a trellis that connects from one side to the other side, and then I had originally thought about doing roses there. And I think I'm gonna just kind of like play with the garden for the next couple years and then settle on what I really want for that. I do want something with impact. And while roses bloom, I don't think that they are in bloom long enough, if that makes sense. If I'm going to do something, I want something that blooms all the time, or even just an annual vine or something like that. I don't know. I just kind of want to play with it for a couple years, but roses were actually the very first thing that I had for those 4 corners. That was my original plant. And this year I was like, okay, I'll do dahlias. That'll be easy. That was a big fail because of the Spidermites. Next year, maybe we'll do some type of vine. And then maybe in year 3, I might put roses in there.
And the next video was a garden cleanup, shopping regrets, and a sparkly greenhouse upgrade. And the first question is from Anna. She'd asked, any chance the circle on the willow branch could be woodpeckers? I have no idea if there are woodpeckers in your area, but an arborist told me that they peck in a line like that, at least here in the Midwest. Maybe wishful thinking on my part, but I figured I'd throw it out there.
So after so many of you guys actually said woodpecker damage, I'm just like, I'm super scarred from the borers because we had finally gotten the apple espaliers to like look really beautiful. And then the wood borers took them out. So now anytime I see holes, I'm like, it's a wood borer. And after so many of you guys had said woodpecker, it actually totally made sense. We have woodpeckers in the area. We hear them all the time. And so, yeah, I've never seen them actually in our garden. So interesting to see the woodpecker damage, but I do believe that is woodpecker damage after researching it better and seeing what they do and how they do it. I do believe that is woodpecker damage. I still think that we're going to take out that branch though, just because it is coming straight out of the willow tree. It's not like hanging over the greenhouse, but it's hanging enough over, like really, really close to the greenhouse, that if it does end up ever snapping, willow branches don't have like the strongest branches. And so if it does ever snap, it could cause damage to the greenhouse. So really you want your branches on your willow tree to grow up, and then you want them to weep down. That one grows out and then it weeps down, so it makes it even heavier, and it's kind of a lot of pressure on it. So I mean, it's got to come out kind of regardless.
Yeah, it's too bad. When it started out, it was aiming in the right direction.
Yeah.
When it was a new branch, it was almost
it was
perfect.
almost up.
Yeah.
And then just kind of the weight of it
over
time has just kind of pulled it down further. So that is kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. I am happy though that it is woodpecker damage and not wood borer damage, because if it was wood borer damage, we might lose the entire tree.
And the next question is from Life by Lori. They had said, the table and chairs are cute. Have you considered using only 2 of the chairs instead of the 4 to make it more in scale with the greenhouse?
Yeah, so you guys will actually see this week on the main channel that we have a new table that came. So the new table is already here, and 2 chairs is definitely going to be a better scale, which will be nice too, because that's going to save me a lot of money to only have to buy 2 chairs rather than having to buy 4 chairs. I didn't really ever want 4 chairs for the greenhouse. That last table set just came with 4 chairs. I really wanted 3 chairs in there. So the table that I ordered is like, it's a really good size for the greenhouse. I do wish it was just a tiny bit bigger. I wish we had like 2 inches bigger on both sides, so 4 inches in total. And then 3 chairs I think would be nice. So that way Brent and I could be out there, and like we could have a friend over, or I could have like 2 of my girlfriends over or whatever. Which it'll still work. It'll still be fine. I mean, I fully intend on using that greenhouse as a place to host friends. And I also intend to use it to be able to grow plants. But I think 2 chairs will be nice. 2 chairs is perfect. It'll be super cozy. It'll be perfect for the 2 of us. And I don't need 4 chairs in there.
And the next question is from Jennifer. And she said, hi, Robbie and Brent. The Vitex looks good. I have a question, please. After you use the loppers on the infested rows, then went to the phlox, doesn't that then carry them there? The chandelier is beautiful. Can't you move 2 of the chairs into corners and keep the 2 at the table? Definitely, if you guys don't like it, return it.
I'm happy to say that the table and chairs have been returned. I think it would have been cute if we lived in like Florida, or if we had like a coastal design or a more like tropical design. I think it would have been perfect. Also, when I was in store, the like wicker, it was a fake wicker, looked brown, and then we got it home and it was very orange. And so it was not the right color. I'm happy to say it's returned, and we have ordered the correct table for the greenhouse. And then as far as the loppers that I use on the rows, I don't worry about aphids too much. It's not something that I even think about. If it's something like Spidermites, yes, I think about it, and I will go rinse them off, clean them with alcohol, whatever I need to do. And so with aphids, it's not something that I really worry too much about. Aphids don't do too much damage in our garden. They do like some damage, and they're more annoying than anything. And I'm not worried about transferring them over to another plant on those loppers. Usually I can see aphids. If I see them on my loppers, I would get them off. And honestly, like half the time if I'm dealing with aphids, they get all over me. I don't know what it is or how that happens. They're crawling all up my arms. I get them on my face, on my shirts. So if anything, I'm probably transferring them myself more than my actual garden tools. But I mean, there's been times that like I deal with like aphids and I try to like get rid of the infestation, and then I come inside and I'm like, why are there like 6 aphids all over me? What is going on? That happens to you too.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't worry about the aphids too much in the garden. They're like the most mild pest in my garden, I feel like.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, they're pretty low on the list.
They're so low on my list, yeah.
And the last question is from Christopher. They said, why do you not wear a hat and long sleeve to protect yourself from the sun? I'm all about protecting your skin.
I am all about protecting my skin also. I wear sunscreen every single day. I wear it on my arms, I wear it on my face, I wear it on the back of my neck and my ears. Every day. I've actually talked about sunscreen many times on this channel. And then as far as wearing a long sleeve shirt and hat, there is, I used to wear a hat all the time. I stopped wearing a hat. I'm wearing one today. I actually think hats are one of the reasons that I was getting migraines so often, the pressure on my head. So I've stopped wearing them, and I've noticed migraines go down. And then as far as wearing long sleeves, I couldn't do it in the garden. I would probably pass out. The heat here is just so intense that it's just not really possible to be working in the garden wearing a long sleeve shirt.
No, like to wear this out in 105 or 106 or 110, that wouldn't make any sense.
No, it's not safe. There definitely needs to be some airflow. So I do wear sunscreen, put it on my arms, and that's as good as that's going to get here. There's 0% chance of wearing long sleeve. And honestly, there's been so much research that has gone into it. Like a lot of clothing that I would wear. So like even if I wore something that was like light and breathable, it still doesn't do much for the sun because the sun rays still get through it. They're saying like clothing needs to have like it needs to be like UV clothing for those people that are in the garden. So like they make those UV sleeves or whatever. And that's what you're supposed to wear. I'm not wearing those. It's too hot. I couldn't do it. I would pass out. I already get so sweaty and so hot in the garden. It just would be super unsafe. So, I mean, if you're able to, if your summers are not 110, go for it. Wear long sleeves, wear a hat, wear the sun visors. It's just not possible here.
Yeah. Okay. And the next video is, of course, I'm adding more and the perfect flower arrangement. And the first question is from Diana. And she said, what a lovely idea. An arrangement to celebrate the hard work that was put into the last year. Can't believe it's been a year until you look around and see the beautiful transformation.
Yeah.
Question, can you please tell me the name of the euphorbia and the arrangement, or is it an annual? Did you buy the plant or grow it from seed?
So the euphorbia that we have growing is called Snow on the Mountain. It is an annual. The ones that we have, I think I have 4 of them in my garden right now. One of them is massive. The other 4 are smaller. They were all self-seeded. Highly recommend growing Snow on the Mountain. Put it at the back of the bed. Give it as much sun as you can possibly give it though. It needs a ton of sun. If it doesn't get enough sun, it stays pretty small and more wispy, where the one that's really big is in full sun, and it does really well. Self-seeds really well. I ended up probably pulling about 100 little seedlings up, and I left some of them. It's a beautiful plant. Pollinators love it. It takes a minute for it to color up, so it's going to be green for a while, and then it shoots out this explosion of variegation in the white. And you can save the seeds from it. You can grow it every single year, but it is just an annual, so you do have to start it over. The sap on it is sticky, and it is an irritant to some people's skin, and it can be toxic. And it also, when making flower arrangements, you need to let it finish dripping its sap out, and you need to have it in water. I left it in the water, and it'll callus over, and once you see the water stop, like turning like a cloudy color, you can pull them out, and if it's still dripping sap, put it back in the water, pull it back out. When it's done dripping its sap, then you can use it in your flower arrangements. Otherwise, the sap will get sucked up by the other flowers, and it'll clog the stems of the other flowers, and then the other flowers can't suck up water, and then they die. So it's kind of a finicky plant, but it's so beautiful.
The next question is from Michelle. She had asked, why aren't you using the augers? I know you like the little shovel, but in your native soil, use a tool to make the digging easier.
Multiple reasons. So I try to use the tool for the job that I need, and so a lot of times, my bed's already mulched, and if I use the auger makes a huge mess, and so then that makes more work because then I have to go remulch the beds that I already mulched. So I try to only use the auger before I start mulching all of my garden beds. That's another reason that it takes me so long to get my beds mulched, because once I mulch, then I don't want to use the auger. And then also getting into a bed. I can get into the bed really easy with that small shovel. With the big auger, sometimes it flings things out and it'll fling a big clod of dirt, and I've had it where it like snaps off a branch of an annual or a perennial and does a little bit of damage to some things. Still totally worth it. I still love the auger. I use the auger, all the time. I haven't used it in a minute, but I do use it all the time. And we even let some of our neighbors borrow our augers because they're such great tools. I do recommend them. I absolutely love it, but I also really love my little shovel, and I just think that there's a time and a place for each tool. And so that's why I'm not using the auger right now, is it makes a mess. And
it's hard to get a big tool, a big heavy tool, all the way to the back of a garden bed when the garden bed is completely full.
Yeah.
Without doing damage.
Yeah.
And the next question is from Joan. And she had asked, if it wouldn't be too hard, could you guys put together a video of the birds, butterflies, bees, bugs, etc. that enjoy your garden? Love your videos.
We could definitely do something like that. Like maybe some of the things that really attract butterflies, bees, and bugs in the garden. We could definitely do a video like that. I do try to... So we changed up the end screen on our videos, and we're trying to make it so that our end screen videos are more enjoyable to also watch. And so anytime that we see like a butterfly, we try to capture that, or anytime that we see bees doing something, or the dogs doing something, or birds doing something, we try to capture that. So the end screens, so if you watch the video all the way to the very, very end, the last 9 seconds of our video, after I say goodbye, is a clip of something happening over on the main channel. And so I will also, I'll work on a video of things that attract them, and then I will try to get video clips of butterflies, bees, birds on those plants. I think that would be a good one.
Okay, and the last video for the week was just a slow, cozy day in the garden. And first question was from Jill. She had said, Robbie, you have so many pest challenges to deal with this season. Do you ever feel kind of defeated by that? Does it ever make you want to give up? When I have many things go wrong, I find it difficult to continue on.
This year has definitely been a challenge. It's been a really rough year. It's mostly been the Spidermites and then the jumping worms. It's definitely made me want to give up a couple times. I don't feel like I talk about that on the channel. I'm like, what am I even doing? Why are we even trying with some of these things? The fact that I'm finding Spidermites on everything, and they're taking the wisteria that we've got in the front, Spidermite damage. The Magnolia, Spidermite damage. I've lost my dahlias, Spidermite damage. Now I'm finding jumping worms absolutely everywhere, and it terrifies me that they're going to destroy the soil and that they're going to make it unusable. Who knows what our soil is going to look like in a year, and it's heartbreaking because our soil was so good when we moved here, and it was so beautiful, and I have no clue how the jumping worms got here. I'm going to assume they came from a potted plant, a container, because they were not here when we bought this place, so they had to have come from something that was potted up. It is definitely discouraging, and the unknown of what our garden's going to look like in a couple years absolutely terrifies me. The Spidermites can be contained, the jumping worms cannot be contained, and so I'm really hoping that somebody comes up with some remedy to control them. I know that there's been a couple of you guys who've left some really good comments about what to do about like putting mustard in there or boiling water, or saying that I need to clean my gloves and I need to clean my shovel and I need to clean my kneeling pad every time I move from garden bed to garden bed. But at this point, I'm digging a hole and I'm finding 10 jumping worms in almost every hole that I dig. They're everywhere. So at this point, like, cleaning my shovel going from one garden bed to the next is not going to do anything. You can't kill their eggs, and they lay eggs at a insane rate, and the eggs look like pieces of dirt, so you can't even actually see the eggs to destroy the eggs, which is frustrating itself. I feel like the only thing that would solve it is I would have to scrape the ground 6 inches to 8 inches down, minimum a foot down, I guess, probably scrape everything out of here and then bring in a foot of new good soil. And maybe, but I mean, honestly, my neighbors probably already have them also, so yeah. I just think we're out of luck. It is definitely discouraging. It's definitely heartbreaking. And my garden might just become a container garden in a couple years.
Yeah, unless there's a solution.
Unless somebody comes up with a solution. Yeah.
And the next question is from Angela, and she had said, can someone please explain how and when chairs got so expensive? I don't understand what happened, and it was seemingly overnight.
Oh my gosh, it's so frustrating. The chairs that I'm looking at are like $250 a chair. And I'm like, really? I have to spend $500 for 2 chairs? That's so dumb. It's insane. And like the fact that I was even thinking about like 3 to 4 chairs, so like $750 to $1,000 for 4 chairs. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why would a chair be? It's a chair.
For use outside.
Even inside chairs are so expensive. We have our dining chairs. They were the cheapest, decent looking chairs. And they're not even like good chairs. We got them and they already fell apart out of the box. One of them has he had patched it with like some wood filler. And you can see it because the wood filler is a different color than the chair. And they were what, $110 a chair?
Yeah, I don't even remember now.
Like $100 for a busted MDF junky chair. Yeah, I don't get it. It's very frustrating.
All right, and the next question is from Jana, and she had said, great video. I can't believe how everything has filled in so quickly. I think everything is loving this cool summer. Where did you get your white umbrellas that are low to the ground? Yeah, I need some of those.
Yeah, no, the summer's been so amazing. The fact that we've barely hit 100 degrees has been crazy. I think we hit like 106. That was our highest that we've hit this year, which is unheard of. Usually we're like 110 every year. So it's been really, really nice to be under. Like, there's a huge difference between like 102 to 110. Huge difference. And then the umbrellas, I got those from Amazon. I will put a link to them in the description. I want to say it's like $7 or $8 an umbrella, but it's like a 10-pack or something like that. I think I spent like $70 for the umbrellas. And they've been very, very helpful in the garden. Definitely recommend. And then they're actually really nice quality. I think I'm going to save one of them to be able to use for in the rain. We had some like cheap little Dollar Tree umbrellas and they're really bad. These ones are nice because they're big. So I think I'm going to save one of them back for us to actually be able to like really use. And they have a nice like, I think it's like a bamboo handle. So they've been perfect.
And the next question is from Yolanda. And she had asked, I had a hummingbird moth a couple weeks ago. So cool. Question, advice. I'm not far from you in Redding, so our climate is very similar. What do you do in the areas that are in shade all morning, early afternoon, and then get blasted with harsh afternoon sun?
So those areas are definitely really hard, and they're one of my hardest areas in the garden. The area that we have our Magnolia tree in that is infested with Spidermites, that is our area that gets morning shade. It's just now 11. It's almost 11, and it's just getting into sun. So it's going to get sun from 11 all the way to the end of the day, and it's going to get pelted with sun. So if the area you're talking about, like anytime from like noon on, Petunias grow really well in our full sun. They do really, really well in our full sun. Spray for BT so that way you don't get budworms and they completely defoliate. Make sure everything is on irrigation. Our irrigation goes off twice a day. It goes off morning and night for 30 minutes both times. And then I would plant things like roses. I would plant things like yarrow. I would plant things like petunias. Things that enjoy cooking in the sun, but also water. I think water's your biggest friend. You could do things like helianthus, like sunflowers. They enjoy full sun. There's a lot of plants that do enjoy full sun. They just don't grow to their full potential. Like I've got some areas that get like full morning sun, and then they get like a good amount of afternoon sun, but they get protected from our very hot end of the day sun, and they do really well. And so I wish all of my garden got the morning and like midday sun and then that afternoon protection, but it's just not the case. You could also try planting a tree to like give that area some protection. I've actually thought about in the jelly bean beds planting another tree that gets like a decent canopy, so that way we can get some protection over in that area. That's actually a thought that I had about 2 weeks ago, was thinking about doing that, so that way things aren't so like, it's not so harsh in that area, because it's a rough area, that hot afternoon sun. I would definitely say plant some trees too. We've got trees that we've planted that have now turned areas from full sun to more shade or dappled areas. So like we have our alder tree right next to our aviary. That area used to just get cooked. That was probably one of the worst areas on the property. And now that that's there, I can grow things there, and they do really well in that area because, I mean, granted, the alder tree sucks up all the water, so you have to use extra irrigation. It's also a very thirsty tree. Most trees are if you plant a tree, but I can grow things there now, and they don't just cook.
And the next question is from Judy McCarroll. She said, do you regret putting up your Espalier?
Yes and no. I love the Espalier. I really love the Espalier. I think it is the wrong, I don't even want to say it's the wrong plant. It's a very high maintenance plant. So if you're somebody who's cool with high maintenance, it's fabulous. During the growing season, we have to be out here all the time winding it, like at least once a week. If you miss a week, it makes it so it's a lot of work a week later. So 2 weeks into it, it's a lot of work. I want to take out the Espalier and I want to put back the Espalier with something that's much more manageable, that grows slower. You guys are going to kill me. I want to put ivy on the Espalier. I want to put like a dwarf ivy on the Espalier. I know some people are like, no. I love the look of it. You can cut on it, you can trim on it, and it doesn't grow as fast as honeysuckle grows. So it grows quick, but it doesn't grow psychotic like this grows. So I do want to take out the honeysuckle. I will still be using it because we can't grow anything there otherwise. So if I don't have anything there, it's just going to be just a fence. And I would rather have plants growing on that wall. And if I can find a dwarf ivy, I think that that'll be really pretty. And it'll be evergreen for us. Whereas like this drops a lot of its leaves in the wintertime. And then so it's just kind of like brown sticks in the wintertime. And we don't really get to enjoy the blooms because we cut off most of the blooms. Do I regret it? No. I love it. It's been a great learning curve. And now I know what I want to put there. You would keep the Espalier, right?
Yeah, we'd keep the Espalier with a different plant.
With a different plant.
Yeah.
That's how I feel too.
Yeah. And this one cooks in the sun.
Yeah.
Everywhere it gets exposure, it turns brown.
Yeah, where I think the ivy would do way better.
Yeah,
so, yes and no, if that makes sense.
And the next question is from Esther, and she had said, good morning. What was the red flower beside the burnt hosta?
That is a begonia. I don't know the variety of it. It was supposed to just be an annual begonia, but it came back this year. I don't think it's the most beautiful one, but it is nice to have some height and a little bit of color over there. It's, I think, 2 years old at this point. So it's been good. It was nice because I didn't have to redo. It's in a basket container, and it was nice because I didn't have to redo the basket this year. Most things came back from that basket.
Yeah, it's perfectly happy there, too. So.
Yeah.
The last question is from Bearbell, and it says, Is it possible you got the jumping worms with the new soil?
I don't think so. I mean, I guess possible, yes, but I'm not really seeing them in the jelly bean beds. So I found one. So technically, yes, it is possible. Or it's possible. I think it's more possible that they've migrated over to the new jelly bean beds because it's such good organic matter and they really love organic matter. I think it's more possible that it came from a potted plant. So I don't know which potted plants it came from, where it came from, how they got here. I think it had to have been something that came in last year. It's definitely not something that came in this year because the jumping worms are way too big this year. And I didn't notice them last year. I think I first noticed them in our creeping fig container that we had growing up against the house. And I think before that, one of you guys had noticed in ground somewhere. You guys had been like, hey, Robbie, I think that's a jumping worm. And I noticed that this worm was flopping around and I was like, what is going on? And you guys were like, Robbie, I think that's a jumping worm. And then I started researching and I was like, oh, that's bad. That sucks. And since then, it's just kind of exploded. They reproduce really, really fast. So I just think it's more possible that it just came from a nursery can container.
Yeah.
And I don't know where the can came from. I don't know which plant it was, but now they are in every bed in the garden. We have worms. So I think that is going to be it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. We're gonna go enjoy the day. It is so cool out right now. It's about 11 o'clock and the weather is perfect. So we're gonna enjoy the rest of our afternoon. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.